but now the dog's in. I've got no John, I've got no Cloud.
Now, will the new modern controls ruin Street Fighter 6? Now, there's always been a certain stigma surrounding simplified controls in recent fighting games. There are normally two opinions on the matter. Either you're with it or you hate it. One side says that simplified controls are great. They make a game more user-friendly, thus making the game more accessible for a wider audience. But the other side is not so accepting. They're like, no, the simplified controls are ruining fighting games. The casuals, man, they're going to exploit it. No more skill in fighting games. This is why I don't play fighting games anymore. Stuff along those lines. And quite frankly, I can understand both sides of the argument. And I don't think either side is wrong. Yes, it makes the game more accessible, but at what cost? Many fighting games with more user-friendly gameplay tend to be exploited a lot by scumbags. Not all of us are A+ pro players, so we get our brains screwed out by said scum. But I feel like it's not entirely the game developer's fault. Sometimes they don't even realize something can be exploited until it becomes a problem. But with Street Fighter 6, Capcom seems to have it all under control. They have it figured out already. So with Street Fighter 6, the simplified controls isn't going to be your typical point your analog stick in this direction and press square to do a Hadouken. It's a bit different. And the best way I can describe it is basically it minimizes the number of controls to create a more easy, free-flowing gameplay for newer players while simultaneously limiting the player's moveset through its creatability and decreasing super damage by 20%. So it seems Capcom have found the perfect balance for this, but have they really though? The people who don't like simplified controls definitely have all the right to be skeptical on this. If something is missed, it can make the first couple months of this game unbearable, like EA Sports Undisputed Boxing. But the real question is, will the modern controls ruin Street Fighter 6 for all of us? And the answer, in my honest opinion, is it will, but for some of us. And before you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? That doesn't even make sense. What are you on about, dude? Dislike. Hold on, allow me to explain myself. So I was watching this other video from this other content creator. He goes by the name of Anime Illuminati. He made a pretty interesting video about the same topic, and it really left me pondering about the future of the controls. So he went into detail how pro players are deciding to change the modern controls due to giving you faster reaction speed. So basically, the point being, modern controls might actually be better than the classic. Now, if this is the case and modern controls are the superior control, this means that classic controls could be archived in favor of the modern controls, which is some fucking scary shit. Street Fighter is changing, man, and it's changing too fast for my liking. So if you flip the question around and say, will modern controls ruin Street Fighter 6 for the old school classic players? Then the answer is yeah, it will. Now let me just tell you, I'm a firm believer in the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'd much rather keep the classic controls. Yeah, they might be harder to learn, but that's what makes beating someone that much more satisfying. But I also have to understand that Capcom has to innovate. They have to keep expanding their fan base to keep this franchise alive, because let's be real here, Street Fighter was a bit on a decline, and the boomers like me are just going to have to accept that hard fact. But even if that is the case, it's not really the end of the world. We'll just have to conform and adapt to the new meta. We'll have to play the modern controls, sadly. I'm not going to let these kids take what I worked for. I'm going to come in and kick their butt. How about that? You know, actually, I take that back. I'm not going to play the modern controls purely out of spite, because fuck that. I'm sticking to my guns. God forbid Capcom royally fucks up and it does get exploited, and then scumbags fucking spam shit like the knee and elbow spammers in UFC 4. Now that would just ruin the game. Street Fighter 6 has such a bright future, and it would be a shame if it was ruined by a feature that could easily have been prevented and unincluded. But with that being said, what do you guys think about the modern controls? Are you going to be playing them? Do you feel like it'll take your game to the next level? Do you feel like it's going to cause spamming? Are you going to be using them? Are you going to try them? Do you think it'll ruin the game? Basically, let me know your thoughts. I should be replying to comments a lot more, but I don't, because I'm a fucking moron. I'm a meathead, so I just stare at the words. I'm like, okay. But I'll try to, man. I have to. I mean, I got nothing better to do, right? But that's besides the point. See, I ramble on too much. Let's just end this. With that being said, it's been your boy, the Masked Assailant, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.